It's the Bob Huggins Show, presented by Carlos O'Kelly's Mexican Cafe, where across the border is just down the street. The Bob Huggins Show is also brought to you by Alltel, Pepsi, Cox Communications, Gatorade, Pizza Hut, Delta Dental, K-State Continuing Education, Access from Home, Cuyahoga, the Kansas Independent Oil and Gas Association, and Little Apple Toyota Honda. And now your host, the voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson.
A road victory in Columbia, Missouri, and a home come-from-behind win against the Baylor Bears. A special feature on Akeem Wright and Coach Huggins next on the Bob Huggins Show. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Bob Huggins Show. I'm Wyatt Thompson. The Kansas State Wildcats are 2-2 in Big 12 Conference play and 12-6 overall. A couple of games since we saw you last week, and we'll start this past Saturday in Columbia, Missouri at the Mizzou Arena. The Wildcats knocking off the Tigers 85-81, and it was a ball game. I guess you'd start with defensively and the fact that you just totally dominated that team on the glass.
Yeah, I thought we really played well defensively in the first half, and then the second half got a little tentative because we were in major foul trouble, but rebounded the ball extremely well. I thought we handled their pressure okay. We had a lot of unforced errors. We made some really bad decisions with the ball, but I thought we were active offensively. We've been a little stagnant. We got pretty good movement and finally made some shots.
Yeah, that's the thing, too. I think to augment what you're talking about, 5 guys in double figures, so a lot of people contributed in the game.
We made some big shots. Clint Stewart made some huge shots for us. Lance Harris made some huge shots. Dave Hoskins goes 12 for 12 from the line. Cartier made some big shots. It was a total team effort.
Lance, of course, playing in Columbia for the final time, you could just see his confidence level. I mean, he made some shots, some off-balance shots. He was terrific.
Yeah, we're going to try to convince him he's in Columbia all the time now. He played really well, and that's as assertive as I've seen him offensively.
What about Blake Young? I think he was kind of one guy that got overlooked in that ball game in Columbia last Saturday. Played really well, had 11 points. First time in a while he'd been in double figures.
11 points, made big free throws for us, really did a good job against their pressure, and defensively I thought really did a good job. Really, Blake's got great quickness, and I thought he harassed the ball and kind of got them out of what they wanted to run.
37 out of 43 at the free throw line. That's terrific.
Yeah, it is. That's shooting it really well, and you can work at things a little bit more over the break. You have a little more time, and you can guys can come in and do some things, and you get a little more individual, time with them, and I think that really helped.
Coach, you led by 10 at the break, and probably were expecting Missouri to make a second half run, and they did behind Marshall Brown, a terrific player. He had 28 in the game.
Well, we told our guys they're going to make runs. They're going to make runs on you, and then you're going to make runs on them. And that's the way they play. And everybody who plays that way, that's kind of the way it is. And you got to be able to control their runs as best you possibly can, and not let them control your runs. And then Marshall Brown got in foul trouble and came in the second half and just. I think he was really, really good, and then we were in foul trouble and very tentative, and both our guys that were going to guard him, Dave and Cartier, both had 4, so we were a little ginger with him, to say the least.
Yeah. With the foul trouble, were you mixing and matching maybe more than you would in another game just because of all of the issues that you were facing there?
Well, we mentioned Blake Young had big minutes. Darren Kent had big minutes for us. Darren plays 9 minutes, and I thought really did a good job for us. Got some hard rebounds, passed the ball pretty well, and then when we played a little bit of zone, he's pretty good on the side of that zone.
Clint Stewart had 19, which equaled his career high. He had 19 at Baylor a year ago. He seems to be more aggressive, looking for his shot these days, inside and out.
I think he's playing with a lot more confidence and a lot more confidence offensively, and he's worked at shooting the ball. He's a guy that we thought coming in was a guy who could make shots, and he kind of struggled. And I'm not sure he understood really what his role was, and I think sometimes people think, well, I'm the point guard, I got to get everybody else involved. And but good point guards, when you don't guard them, they make shots, and actually good point guards when you know, you're in a clock situation or to stop a run, it can take advantage. They make shots, and I thought he did that for us.
There were a lot of fouls in the game, and I think to get too early on Stefan Hanna, kind of their playmaker, benefited your efforts to get out to that 39-29 halftime lead, didn't it?
No, there's no question. I don't think he ever got in the flow of the game because of the foul problems, and he got 2 and then actually stole the ball, and Clint made a great play to take a charge on him at the other end to give him 3, and then I think when you get 3 in the first half, you really kind of get tentative.
And you played Clint and Blake a lot together at the 1 and the 2, and they're kind of somewhat interchangeable. Is that something that we'll see more of as we go through the conference year?
Well, we played Clint, Blake, and Jermaine at the same time quite a bit. So we had all 3 of our, you know, point guards in there. So and we needed it against their pressure. But yeah, that's something that you know we're looking to do because we could move either one of them off the ball. We can actually. If you move Clint off the ball, he shoots the ball pretty well. You move Blake off the ball. That's what Blake's been. Blake's been his whole career. Has been more of a scorer. He's never really played point guard. So either one of them, I think, are comfortable off the ball.
Hoskins, 12 for 12 at the free throw line. Just comment on how he played in the block area. He was terrific.
Yeah, he got to the line. And that's what Dave has to do when you're undersized like Dave is. And you know, Dave he has a hard time scoring it over people. So you got to find angles, you got to create space, and more importantly, you got to get to the free throw line. You look at the guys that are undersized guys that excel in the post and take it, and then we moved them in and out of the post a little bit more instead of just kind of standing them there. We tried to flash him in and ISO him a little bit more to where he could maybe get an angle, but yeah, as long as he continues to make free throws like that, he's going to put up numbers.
Again, the Wildcats winning the ball game in Columbia, Missouri on Saturday at the Mizzou Arena. The final was 85-81. The Wildcats had a total of 5 players in double figures, led by Clint Stewart, who had the 19 points, as we mentioned. We'll take a break here, and when we come back, a look at a ball game coming up at home with the Baylor Bears. Stay with us on The Bob Huggins Show.
The Bob Huggins Show is brought to you in part by the Kansas Independent Oil and Gas Association, whose members include Swift Services, Anderson Energy, Allied Cementing Company, and Imperial American Oil.
Welcome back to the Bob Huggins Show. After that big win in Columbia, Missouri on Saturday, the Wildcats were back home this past Wednesday night hosting the much-improved Baylor Bears, who came into the ballgame 11-5. K-State won at 69-60. Where do you start with a crazy game like that? You were tied at halftime and then down 11 and finished the game on a 29-9 run.
Well, we got off to a great start, and then they came back, and then we kind of made another run, and they came back at the end of the half, and then we went almost half of the second half without a field goal. And if we hadn't guarded, it'd have been over. But we did a pretty good job of guarding. We kept them kind of within distance to where we could make it come back and switch defenses. And you know, as I said after the game, I think we really confused them because I was confused. We had a couple guys playing man, 3 guys playing zone, and I think they're looking around out there saying, what are they doing? And I'm looking around out here saying, what are we doing? But we finally got it straightened out to where we had all 5 guys playing matchup, and we did a good job of matching with them.
Yeah, I'd have you talk a little bit more about that defense because it really did turn the game in your favor, even though you're down 11. They had Kevin Rogers in foul trouble, kind of a perimeter team at that point, and that zone really got after him a little bit.
Yeah, we really did a good job matching with it, and guys that, you know, we need to be better guarding, we're better guarding. We had Hoskins and Cartier on the wing, and with their size, they really bothered shooters. I think we got to the ball a lot better, and then, you know, we really wanted to push up on them on the outside and just leave Jason, and Jason was not to leave the purple there and just kind of clean up everything that came in there, and I thought he really did a good job of changing shots inside.
Yeah, especially late. He had 2 or 3 big plays late in that game.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and got his hands on a lot of balls. I mean, he got his hands on a lot of balls at both ends. Now we got to get him to secure those balls a little bit better, but I thought he was pretty active for us.
What about Luis Colon's game? I thought he contributed for you that night too.
Yeah, we were trying to do the offensive-defensive thing.
Yeah.
You know, if it had been football, we'd have been in good shape. Lou really did a good job passing the ball and took care of the basketball for us, and that's the one thing that Lou does. He secures the ball for you. You can't get it out of his hands, and he generally makes pretty good decisions. Made a great pass when they went back zone to Dave Hoskins to score an easy basket and get him out of zone.
David did not play well early in the game, as we talked about in the radio postgame show, shut out in that first half. But in the second half, kind of the same old consistent David Hoskins, wasn't he?
Well, he was more assertive. You know, he just first half he wasn't very aggressive at either end of the floor, and we were playing all right without him. So there wasn't any sense in playing somebody who really wasn't with it defensively and get him in foul trouble because he really wasn't moving his feet, and he came out the second half with a purpose and was the same old Dave. You know, but as I told him, we have the same old Dave for 2 halves. You can't take a half off for
sure. Lance Harris kept you in the game in that first half, really, with the 3 threes. He finished with 18. Is he starting to become more consistent offensively again? It sure looks like it.
Yeah, he is. I think he's playing with so much more confidence. And, you know, at the end of the game, he made a couple huge plays. We tried to lift them because they were, you know, they had such great size in there, and they were supporting so well. And any kind of ISO we tried to run for Dave or Cartier, they kind of doubled them and did a good job. So we tried to raise them a little bit. And when we got them raised, Lance did a great job, attacked the goal, got a 3-point play, and then we put him on the other side of the floor, and he did a great job of penetrating, drawing people, and pitching it to Stu, who hit a big shot for us.
You did have some problems with dribble penetration with Baylor, but I'm going to guess most teams will. When they go small, they're really hard to guard with those 3 and 4 guards.
Yeah, they are, and they really do a good job with ball screens, and those are big ball screens. You know, those guys are big guys, and we were going under, and we've been going under quite a bit, and we had to make some changes in that regard. But yeah, I think, you know, when they're making shots, then they spread you like that. They're really hard to guard.
Is it hard to? I know it obviously helped you, but you're such a man-to-man principles guy. Was it easy to make the switch because of what was happening, or no?
Oh, I mean, you're down 11, you got to make a change, you know, and I think when we get to where, you know, our understanding of how to play is pretty good, then we'll do that more. You know, we actually tried to, at the end, throw a little token press out there just to kind of slow them down. And, you know, I think it's hard, particularly when your margin of error is not very great, just to you know, stand there and slug it out with everybody every game. I think you got to make some changes.
This team really has done, I think, a really good job since Bill Walker went down of kind of getting back to where they were, like at the Vegas tournament. Is that a fair assessment, would you say, Coach?
I think we're guarding good. You know, I mean, and again, you go 10 minutes in a game against a team like Baylor and you're not out of the game means you've guarded pretty well. I mean, we guarded pretty well the second half. I think we're getting better offensively. I think, you know, guys like Lance, I think, have stepped back up. You know, David is doing a better job of doing what he needs to do, and that's get to the free throw line. And Cartier's making shots. Cartier made a huge shot for us. So the 3 to put us ahead was a huge shot.
Yeah, that 3, by the way, made it 59-58. And in the ball game, Cartier Martin went over the 1,200-point mark in his career. 1,200 points, 400 rebounds, just the 5th Wildcat to ever accomplish that feat, joining the likes of Bob Boozer, Ed Neely, Rolando Blackman, and Ski Jones. So awfully good company there. A great win for the Wildcats in come-from-behind fashion. The final score was 69-60. Well, one of the top defenders for the Wildcats last year and this year has been Akeem Wright, a senior from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I had a chance to sit down and visit with him one-on-one earlier this week. Here's Akeem Wright. What kind of transition was it from the style you played last year to this year?
I think last year, you know, just the way Coach Ward, he wanted us to play defense, but not so much like how Coach Huggins wanted us, you know, to force it to one side, you know, really get up in guys and pressure. I think that's been the real key in playing defense for Coach Huggins this year.
I know you've worked really, really hard on your offensive game. Tell us what you've worked on through the summer and into this season.
Through the summer, just ball handling, you know, my mid-range jump shot, you know, things like that. Just trying to get to the basket a little bit more. You know, this season, I just try to let things come to me. You know, not really try to force anything. If the shot is there, take it. If I have an opportunity to drive, you know, do that, or drive and kick. Just so I think that's why, you know, numbers is up and down. You know, I had a good game once, you know, a game where, you know, I didn't score as much, so I'm just letting it come to me.
To augment what you're saying, the 18 points at Texas A&M, that particular game, you were getting shots and a very confident shooter that day, weren't you?
Yeah. You know, it was just I got some easy layups, some free throws. You know, just got in rhythm off of the defense and everything like that, and you know, they was leaving me open. I was able to knock down shots. You know, I just was shooting it with confidence. And you know, when the play broke down, you know, I wanted to be there to make a big play for the team, and I was able to do that.
How exciting is it to think that this team has a chance to be an NCAA tournament team if they play well the rest of the way out?
It's very exciting, and you know, we see what can happen. You know, if we don't play well, you know, we can lose these close games. You know, Coach always say it's a game of possessions. You know, we just as we get longer into the season, we just gotta know that just not turning the ball over and stuff like that, getting shots, you know, is really gonna help us in winning these games. Because I think our defense been great, but it's just been, you know, the silly turnovers or the stupid mistakes that we've made in the previous games that's got us losses. But I just think once we get that together, you know, this team can be really special.
Are you valuing the home games more, knowing this is your last go-around, so to speak?
I'm valuing every game, you know, really. Just these home games, you know, we just got to win at home. Basically, you know, Coach just told us, you know, we got to do whatever and win these home games. But, you know, I definitely want to win the road games because those are huge games, you know, against some ranked opponents that we really need.
Has Bramlage been louder this year?
Definitely. I don't think, you know, it ain't been louder since the time we beat KU, and, you know, everybody got excited for that Missouri game. So, you know, there's definitely some excitement around here, and we just want to keep that going.
We hope you enjoyed our one-on-one with Akeem Wright, and we've talked about him before at length. This guy can defend against so many people in the league, really from the point guard to the four-man.
Yeah, I mean, we go back to the North Dakota State game. We played him on the power forward, and then, you know, we've played him on point guards. We played him on Stefan Hanna. We've played him on, you know, their off guard, their scoring guard. Yeah, he's done a great job. He guards small forwards, and I tell you what's really good is he rebounds the basketball. I mean, not only does he do a good job of guarding, but he finishes a defensive possession with a rebound.
He has at times helped you on the offensive end, too. I think about that terrific game at A&M where he was just shooting it with such confidence.
Yeah, and taking shots and making plays within his realm, which is important. You know, sometimes we get outside of what we're good at doing, and I think Keem's been pretty solid at trying to do just the things that he does and not, you know, sometimes guys want to do everything they can't and not what they can. He's really done a good job doing what he can.
Boy, he sure has. We'll take a break and look ahead to ball games Saturday and Monday for the Wildcats after this timeout.
The Bob Huggins Show is brought to you by Carlos O'Kelly's Mexican Cafe, where across the border is just down the street. And by Pizza Hut. Go for the good stuff.
Up next for the Kansas State Wildcats, a road trip to Ames, Iowa to take on the Cyclones. They've got a very, very fine young coach up there in Greg McDermott, a team that really probably has already exceeded expectations, haven't they?
Well, I'm not sure what their expectations were, but they're pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, Greg really does a good job. I have great respect for what he did at Northern Iowa and now what he's doing there. And I like their players. I like their team. Taylor really scores the ball. Taylor may make more hard shots than anybody in this league, and that's saying something. And their young guys are good. They got good size. They really guard you. Greg's teams have always really guarded you, and they run a whole bunch of stuff and run it pretty well.
Defensively, are they more man-to-man zone? Do they mix it up?
They're primarily a man team. Primarily a man, kind of get up in you and do a great job of helping off the ball.
What about Hilton Coliseum? Traditionally, regardless of the coach, it's been one of the toughest places to play in the entire Big 12.
Well, you know, I've never been a huge believer in that, although the honest to God's truth is some places are a little harder to play than others, and that's because of the excitement and enthusiasm in the building, which is where we need to get to. Mm-hmm. You know, we need, because of the way our building is laid out, we could have the greatest home court advantage in the whole league if we'd get everybody out there all the time. But I think that's a big part of it. You know, they've got the students there, and they wear the rain gear, and they've got great enthusiasm. They've got great fans, and you know, I think that can be a shot in the arm for you, adrenaline-wise, because everybody has games where they go out there where they're not at maybe as emotionally as at their peak, and I think those people can help you do that. But you know, Wyatt, they're not going to get any rebounds, blocking shots, or scoring goals, so we should be all right.
Best of luck Saturday.
Thank you.
And as we wrap it up, the Wildcats, don't forget, are at home on Monday night to take on Chicago State. We'll see you next week on The Bob Huggins Show.